My name is Markus Logren. I work for Helen. I'm a service developer and currently work as a team lead. Today I'm going to talk about flexibility, how to unlock it, how I see it, and more or less heavily focusing on demand response, because that's pretty much the thing I know something about. So let's start. First of all, why flexibility? Why is it important? I think the answer is a no-brainer. We all know it. It's this. This is a bad thing, and I think that flexibility is one of the key components or key elements of mitigating or resolving this issue. So, renewable energy is needed. That's another thing that we all know. But it comes with problems, especially variable renewable energy. It's, of course, as the name states, it's variable. And on the other hand, it's non-synchronous. So, it causes unbalance and loss of inertia. And to resolve this, we have certain kind of tools or things that we are using now. So, for example, Fingrid has grid reserves for certain things like unbalance, loss of inertia, different kinds of balancing mechanisms. And of course, on the other hand, we can forecast the variable renewable energy so that we know when there is an unbalance and when there's not, when the situation is balanced and when it's not. I like the solution-oriented approach myself, so I try to focus on these things, especially on the grid reserves. When it comes to flexibility enablers, I think that there are, or at least in my head, there are three different categories. There's technology, services, and policy making. Unfortunately, I didn't hear about or couldn't get here soon enough to listen the earlier presentations, but maybe some of these things have already been discussed here today. So first, technology. There's connectivity, which is part of the digitalization and IoT world, what we are seeing, especially low-cost connectivity. So we need to gather data from sensors, and then we need to actually tell devices to do some form of function to provide the flexibility. That's one thing. Other thing is consumer electronics. And what I mean about consumer electronics is cheap electronics, low-cost electronics. So the sensors and the actuators that we need, we can pretty much put them everywhere we want to with a low cost today. It's really important. And of course, there's power electronics and smart grid. For example, AMR, smart transformers, and so on. And the interesting thing about this technology side is that when you combine the connectivity with the cheap electronics, you can actually use those applications in the field of power electronics and smart grid. And this is not in the field of energy so much, but this is something what Elon Musk and SpaceX are doing. They put consumer electronics into rockets and they fly to space. So that's really, really important. Then the services. Of course, the most important thing is the customer need. We need to have the customer need to actually build or generate market opportunities. And when there's market opportunities, we get killer applications. And if you think about the customer need in the flexibility side, one big customer in Finland is Fingrid. So as we develop flexibility services or demand response services in Helen, we serve Fingrid. On the policy making side, there's market design, really important, especially when you think about the Europe as a whole entity. It's really important to have clear market design, clear rules, what to do, how to do it, and of course the technical side as well, the technical requirements for reserves and so on. And then there's other things such as taxes and tariffs and other incentives or penalties. These could be enablers, these could be barriers as well. So if you punish certain things, it could be a barrier to actually prevent us from getting the flexibility we need. Then, the sources of flexibility. I think you have heard pretty much about these things already today, but on the demand side, there's of course load management. There's storages, and then there's storages on wheels. So pretty much, this is pretty much everything that you have on the demand side nowadays. On the generation side, flexibility is provided by hydro or pumped hydro. Really nice thing. Power to gas and curtailment services. So when you have kind of too much power, too much energy flowing into the system, you can curtail the production or the generation. And this is maybe the thing that we are not hoping to see so much, so that we could that we are going to the situation that where there's too much wind or too much solar, that we should curtail the production. Not a good thing. But still, it's a source of flexibility. And of course, last but not the least, transmission. So strong area connectors can provide flexibility from different areas, and that's really important thing as well. I will be focusing on the demand side today because, as I stated earlier, I know practically nothing about the generation or the transmission side and a little about the demand side. So that's the focus today for me. Okay. Next I'm going to tell you a little journey that we made with the demand response. We actually did some digging. The picture is old, but the kind of doing is the same. So we really went practical about these things. And let's see. This is the result. I think it's from SCDC report mapping the markets last year. Finland is in the upper right corner there. It's green. Yeah, a good thing. There's, of course, other green countries as well, but part of the things that we do here in Finland, we get practical and then we get results. And we, in Helen, of course, we weren't the only ones doing things. There's other innovative players as well, including Fingrid. That's actually making this possible. Okay, so first we needed a concept. We thought about the concept. There's provider, there's aggregator, and there's marketplace. And we decided to be the aggregator. So when there's disturbance or unbalance in the national grid or in the Finnish national grid, there's capacity that flows from the provider through the aggregator to the marketplace. And the payment comes through the aggregator to the provider. Really simple, okay. Then we needed some technology, so we got one. Battery. And placed it in Suvilahti. It's 1.2 megawatt and 600 kilowatt hours lithium-ion energy storage. So basically, lots and lots of cell phone batteries stacked together and some power electronics. Really nice thing. What we are actually doing with it, we study with Fingrid and Helen sähköverkko, we study frequency containment, how to actually generate artificial inertia, how to regulate the voltage and reactive power, and actually maintain the network voltage levels. Then we optimize solar energy production, day-night shift. And of course, we do the disturbance reserve, so we keep the frequency deviation in control until some alternative reserves can be ramped up. One interesting thing about the storage is that you have multiple benefits, and how to actually stack the benefits is the key. So that's another thing that we are studying. Then we needed a virtual power plant, or the software. So we got one. So it's pretty much about the thing how to put a SCADA system in a cloud. And we did some practice with Siemens, and still are doing. And this is how it looked like. So we partnered. First test site connected. Then some trading integration to the Helen's legacy systems. Then we went commercially active. And the gap between the commercially active and the ramp-up first stage, where we had plus 10 megawatts connected, that was painful. And it still is to actually scale this up. But we are in a good place now and scaling things still. So yeah, you gotta have one virtual power plant to actually connect all the sites together. And of course we needed on-site load control as well. So we put Siemens on it again. Industry grade components. So on the hard electronic side or the power electronic side, not yet on the consumer electronic side. And this is the thing that enables the on-site control and actually enables the reserve provider to participate to all the Fingrid marketplaces. And in our service or demand response program, we offer this thing to the reserve or demand response provider free of charge, the device and then the installation and the whole thing. This is how it looks like. So virtual power plant operations with reserve providers. The example is in Mäntsälä, Finland, so maybe some 60 kilometers north from here. We started cooperation in 2016, and what we do is that we enable the ancillary market services or the operations for them. And this is interesting because when there's this load management situation or the disturbance situation happening, the whole site goes off grid and provides the load or the capacity to the grid, and it's backed up with the on-site backup power system and the dynamic UPS. And we get, or Yandex gets, 5 to 10% savings in electricity costs when they are doing this. So it's practically pretty nice. Okay. Of course, new products and pilots are coming or launched. We have Optimi plus OptiWatt, which is a demand response ready consumer electricity plan with automated heating control. So you have the OptiWatt heating control system, and then you get the Optimi electricity plan, and when you combine those things, you get the demand response readiness. Or we connect the OptiWatt to the virtual power plant that we have. And again, the customer gets the benefit because the Optimi electricity plan is it's basically an ordinary spot priced electricity, but with no marginal. So there's the benefit for the customer. It's easy to get, easy to use, no hassle, and actually not much demand response, or so to speak, energy jargon comes with it, so it's really easy. Then we have hybrid solar plus storage system that is demand response ready as well. So ordinary panels, ordinary storage, one inverter, and again, you have the demand response readiness inside the house and to the grid. And a vehicle to grid public charging station was opened in Suvilahti, first in Europe. So we are waiting to actually get some traffic to get the vehicle to grid operations started as well. And we are currently in a balanced power pilot with Fingrid. There's some issues, but it's still going. And the most important thing is that we are kind of evolving or putting new stuff to the market all the time. We launch products and then we wait how the customers react, and then we have the feedback. So, what was our focus when we were doing this? When you think about the enablers, heavy focus on the services, killer applications. But you need something else as well. We needed the technology, and we needed a little bit market design. So you have to combine these things. You have to cooperate. You have to have partners and other innovative players. So my advice to you all is create awareness, so everyone is aware what you are doing, no matter if you work in the technology field, in the service field, in the policy making field. Create awareness. Team up and build deep partnerships. There's rare occasions where when some instance can provide everything by themselves. So team up and co-create with innovative customers. It's the fastest way. It took us 2 years to actually build up the VPP and get the things going. But you have to co-create with the innovative customers. So otherwise, it's going to take a much longer time. And there's some partners. Oh, thank you.